took to the streets of Wellington Central this afternoon and I asked this question. Is New Zealand's anti-nuclear policy still relevant?
Yep. Completely. Still relevant.
Yep, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd agree, definitely.
Yeah.
Of course there is.
Of course it is.
Anti-nuclear, absolutely.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's relevant to many people. I don't completely agree with it.
Would you like to see nuclear power in New Zealand one day?
No.
Nuclear power, on the other hand, is massively efficient.
I reckon if we're going to be nuclear free, we need to be completely nuclear free.
No nuclear power plant out Miramar somewhere?
No.
Maybe not out in Miramar, but it's too close to home. But I wouldn't completely take it off the table.
Because it's no good for human anatomy.
But it's a bit of a blast from the past, isn't it? Very 80s, you know, a bit of a Cold War relic.
My mum cared about it a lot. I know that. She drilled it into me, care about the nuclear stuff.
We're one of the only places in the world, isn't it? So I think we're leading the way.
Hold on to that.
Yep, definitely.
What about you?
No, he's just stolen the question, the answer. It covered it all, eh?
It's covered it all. Yeah. Just covered it all, you know. What about you, Nook? I mean, Joe Biden has just been in New Zealand, and the US has confirmed its first naval ship in 30 years. Firstly, what do you make of that in terms of foreign policy? I want to ask you that first.
Well, I think, first of all, that this is sort of characterised by a victory of our relationship between the US and New Zealand. And as long as we continue to sort of be, have our humility and all of that.
You know, shouldn't we be a bit more, we're not Australia, shouldn't we be a bit more independent? What do you reckon, Chris?
Oh, I think we should be independent. The Labor Party has been. We didn't.
Are we independent now?
I would argue not as independent as we have been.
Because Peter Dunne once said, because of the Labor Party, you know, sort of standing up in the 80s, 85, we were called internationally the mouse that roared. Are we that now? Is New Zealand the mouse that roared now?
Not right at this moment, but I think if we had a foreign affairs minister like Winston Peters,
all right, that's enough. Gareth,
who started this relationship with Condoleezza Rice, who broke this thaw with Condoleezza Rice.
It's not election year. It's not election year, Tracy.
No. But listen, who broke that relationship? It was Winston Peters with Condoleezza Rice, but he didn't have to sell anything to actually get that relationship back. This is all thanks to Winston Peters. Thank you, Winston.
Wow. All right, okay.
I think Tracy hit her quota tonight.
Hey, what do you reckon? I mean, are we getting too much in Uncle Sam's pocket? That's what I'm trying to say. You know, is this an arm wrestle between China and the US, and we're in the way?
Yeah, I think that, to be honest, is a little bit of a part of it. But look, this is a vindication of one of the proudest moments to be a New Zealander, where we stood up against the madness of nuclear weapons. We were right. 30 years down the track, we've been proven, and good on them. Kia ora, welcome to Wellington, to Auckland, wherever the ship pulls into port. It is a demonstration of people power.
Do young people still think this is an important issue? I mean, you kind of all of you grew up in the 80s.
Yeah, it's a defining feature.
Is it a big issue still?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
It defines us.
Well, can I just make one point? Is that it wasn't just about US warships, actually. It was actually about all ships that were coming into New Zealand waters. So I think that it's been a really good policy, not just against the USA in some ways, but right across the world. We were the mouse that roared, and we've still got that.
Are we the mouse that roared now?
I still think we are in a lot of ways.
Kind of in a lot of ways. Kind of
if we'd dropped it, if it had not been gone by lunchtime under Don Bragg.
All right, hey, let's go to Hayley.
Yes, I'm with Anthony Green, our expert analyst. Now, obviously, we're quite proud of our nuclear-free policy. Do you think we've been naive in trying to hold on to it?
No, New Zealand is a long way from the rest of the world. It's a long way from nearly every hot spot in the rest of the world. And Australians have a very different attitude to ANZUS about boats. And it's much more about Australia's always wanted a great and powerful friend until the fall of Singapore. That was Britain. After Singapore, it's been the United States. And with instability on the northern border, and people forget in the 1960s, there were confrontations in Borneo on the border of Indonesia, and there were the issue of West Irian and East Timor. So those things were much more relevant to Australians. And so maintaining an involvement with the Western Alliance is a much bigger issue for Australians.
So do you think that we're not even worth overtaking? We're not even worth coming in and overrunning, so we don't have to worry about it?
I always think New Zealand would be the last country to fall after everyone else is gone. So, yeah.
So do you think that we are the mouse that roared still, looking from an outsider's perspective, or do you think we actually do follow along with what we're told to do?
No, I think there's some genuine reasons why New Zealand was saying, why are we involved in all this thing around the rest of the world? What's our involvement? I mean, this came a few years after, I think, Muldoon was lending ships to the British to invade the Falklands War. So there was this, I think there's always a whole series of issues there which New Zealanders look at very differently from Australia.
What about now?
Now, well, I mean, I think the world has changed. If you're talking about the 1980s, you're still talking about the Cold War. You're still talking about America ensuring it's able to face the Soviet Union anywhere in the world.
Now, does Russia sort of beefing up their sort of submarine activity? Do you think that's a worry? Are we back to the Cold War?
I'm not sure whether Russia is going to be the source of this. I think it's more what China will do in the future. China is a growing power. China is sort of exerting its influence in Southeast Asia. I think that's the issue, and Australians have a bit sort of divided on that issue. Should we take a stand on these issues in the South China Sea, or should we live with the fact that we send so much to China that that's sort of we live on the back of China?
And maybe we should just sit back with our box of popcorn and watch it all happen.
I think that's, I mean, some Australian defence planners look at that way about New Zealand, that it can sit at the end of the world and, you know, eat its popcorn and watch everything else.
Back to you, Wallace.
I just want to involve the audience, actually. We haven't had much of the audience tonight, Hayley, so go into the audience. Should we pursue a more independent foreign policy? What do you think?
I just saw this table turn away from me, and that's a surefire way to get me to come over. What do you think about our foreign policy? Okay, I might ask your friend here. Do you have an opinion? No? Oh, nobody wants to talk to me, Wallace. Shame.
What about the couple that are getting married next year because of backbenchers? What about them?
I know. Between wedding planning, what do you think about New Zealand's foreign policy?
I think we're on the right track. I think we are independent. I think we're well respected around the world for the stands that we've made in the past and continue to do.